Chapter 5, Exercise 5.37. Use formal charge to determine which Lewis structure is better. A better Lewis structure has fewer formal charges. So now let's look at this one. Hydrogen and hydrogen, well, their formal charges are just 0. What about the carbon? A carbon is surrounded by 2 single bonds and a double bond, 8 bonding electrons. Because those are bonding electrons, we divide this 8 by 2, we get 4 electrons allocated to carbon. And a free carbon atom also has 4 electrons. Therefore, the formal charge on carbon is 0. Sulfur. Sulfur has a double bond with 4 bonding electrons. We allocate 1/2 of this 4 electrons to sulfur. So 2 electrons, and then plus 2 plus 2, a total of 6. That means 6 electrons are allocated to sulfur. A free sulfur atom also has 6 valence electrons. Therefore, the formal charge is 0 on sulfur as well. Now let's look at this structure. Sulfur is surrounded by 8 bonding electrons. We allocate 1/2 of this 8 electrons to sulfur, that's 4. But if you look at a free sulfur atom, it's surrounded by 6 valence electrons. Now you have only 4, so this sulfur has a 2+ formal charge. Of course, this carbon has to be 2-. And why is that? Well, there are 4 bonding electrons here. We allocate 2 bonding electrons to carbon, plus this 2, plus this 2, we get 6. Free carbon atom has only 4 valence electrons. So this carbon has a 2- formal charge. Now let's answer the questions. The better Lewis structure is structure 1 because it has fewer atoms with formal charges. It's hard to see because it has fewer atoms with non-zero formal charges. So we're gonna enter fewer here. This is analysis by Mastering Chemistry. You can see hydrogen atoms, they have a 0 formal charge. And if you look at carbon, we look at the number of valence electrons in a free carbon, and then we look at the number of valence electrons in the molecule that are allocated to carbon, in this case a total of 6. So carbon bears a -2 formal charge, and sulfur, in a free sulfur atom there are 6 valence electrons. In this molecule, you can see a total of 4 electrons are allocated to sulfur. That means 2 less electrons than in a sulfur atom. That's why sulfur has a +2 formal charge. I was actually talking about this structure number 2 over here. This sulfur is surrounded by 8 bonding electrons. 1/2 of these 8 bonding electrons are allocated to sulfur.